Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to profound knowledge and some surprising insights. Today, we're continuing our series, Wisdom Unveiled.
Yes, and we're diving back into the incredible world of the 12th century Persian poet and mystic, Attar Nishapuri.
He really is an extraordinary figure. This is actually Deep Dive number 12 in our journey through, well, 40 of these deep conversations.
And his ideas, they still resonate so powerfully today. There's just immense depth there for anyone seeking understanding.
Absolutely. We're drawing on these philosophical and mystical conversations featuring the renowned Iranian philosophers Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani from the program Marfat.
Right. And just a quick note for you, our listener, before we jump in. This deep dive is essentially a translation and, well, a reproduction of those original Farsi conversations. Now, some concepts, some nuances, they might not translate perfectly across languages, across different philosophical traditions. We've really done our best to capture the core essence, this universal wisdom. But, we do apologize in advance if there are any slight discrepancies.
Of course. So in this particular deep dive, we're going to journey through Attar's understanding of the intellect, what a real spiritual quest looks like for him.
And something quite surprising, too.
Yeah, the profound lessons we can apparently learn directly from the earth itself. Okay, let's unpack this. Sounds fascinating.
Let's do it.
So maybe we should start with Attar's huge work, the Musibatnameh. Now, it often gets translated as Book of Affliction, but you've mentioned before that title might be a bit, well, misleading in a mystical context.
It really can be, yeah. In the mystical sense, Musibat isn't really about ordinary sadness or grief. It's much closer to the Book of Trials, or maybe a mystical epic of endurance.
Okay, trials.
Yeah, those deep inner challenges, the kind of spiritual odyssey that refines the self on the path towards truth. It's not about worldly problems.
Got it. And at the heart of this epic, we find the saliki, literally the seeker of thought. So what exactly is salik, this spiritual journey, according to Attar? It's obviously more than just, physical movement.
Exactly. Not just any movement counts as salik. I mean, a rock moves if you push it, plants grow, animals react mostly on instinct.
Right.
But for Attar, salik is conscious. It's deliberate movement towards truth. It has to be infused with awareness, with love, an active search for ultimate reality.
So it's intentional.
It's intentional, yes.
Yeah.
Only conscious thought or reflection really has that capacity because it's aiming for something higher.
Okay, so this seeker, the Saliki Adala, sets out. And one of the first huge hurdles they face is crossing what Attar calls the Lashkar-e-Khaiyal, the army of imagination. He paints imagination as this massive, powerful, almost untamable force. Why is it such a big deal?
It's such a vivid metaphor, isn't it?
Right.
Attar really emphasizes its sheer speed and how it gets everywhere. Nothing on earth moves as fast as imagination, he said. And being captive to bad imagination, as he puts it, is incredibly dangerous from his perspective.
Right.
It just warps reality, creates illusions, and it blocks real spiritual progress.
So it's not just harmless daydreaming.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
These thoughts, these imaginings, they can be really destructive.
Okay, so after navigating that chaos, the seeker comes before something truly profound, aql-e, the intellect freed from its fetters.
Yes.
Now, we usually think of intellect as, logic, structure, reason. So how can intellect be fettered? That sounds almost contradictory.
It does, doesn't it? And that's a crucial point. It's a striking paradox. The Arabic word for intellect, aql, actually comes from equal.
Which is?
The rope used to tie a camel's leg.
No way.
Yeah. So right there you have this tension. For Attar, the true intellect, the pure intellect, is inherently unbound, free.
Yeah.
It's totally different from the intellect that's constrained, fettered by material desires, worldly ambitions, narrow prejudices, ego.
All that noise.
All that noise, exactly. Or even just limited knowledge. The pure intellect, which Attar often connects with karad, or wisdom, it perceives truth without any hindrance. It's really about freeing our minds from all that stuff so we can see clearly.
And the seeker uses some really potent titles when addressing this pure, unbound intellect. The first one is Master of my binding and unbinding. What does that tell us about the intellect's role in our everyday lives?
It tells us that the intellect is, or should be, the ultimate director of all human affairs. I mean, life is just a constant series of making commitments, right? Forming connections, creating order.
Binding things together.
Binding, yes. But also deciding what to let go of, what to unbind or release. And without a pure intellect guiding those decisions, none of this can be managed properly. Not personally, not socially, not spiritually. It's essential for making wise choices about what to hold on to and what to release.
Then the seeker also calls the intellect naqd, the critic or discriminator. That sounds like a very specific job description.
It is. Attar really emphasizes this function. The intellect's core job is to critically discern, to separate the pure from the impure, right from wrong, truth from falsehood.
Unlike animals, maybe.
Well, animals discern mostly by instinct, right? But humans, if our intellect gets clouded by desires or biases, we can make terrible errors. So making the intellect a perfect naqd, a perfect discriminator, is a tough, lifelong journey. It's about refining its ability to see clearly.
And then this really powerful image, man full of religious duty is sown upon your stature.
Wow.
That implies this incredibly deep link between intellect and responsibility. Like our very ability to reason makes us accountable.
Right. And this brings up that huge question. Who or what is accountable? Morally or spiritually? And Attar's answer is crystal clear. Only the rational being, one with intellect. Animals, objects, they lack this capacity. So in a fundamental way, intellect is responsibility.
Because we can choose.
Because we can choose. And every conscious choice carries an implicit why. Divine commands, ethical duties, they're all addressed to the intellect. And the intellect then has the choice to embrace them or reject them. Attar even suggests that a truly pure intellect can intrinsically know good from bad, even without specific rules or commands.
Fascinating. Okay, finally, the seeker says this about the intellect. Your boundary extends to the limit of non-existence. That sounds incredibly paradoxical. How can a limit be nothingness?
It's a fantastic line, isn't it? So poetic. It highlights the intellect's boundless nature within the realm of existence. Non-existence isn't a place. It's just the absence of being.
Okay.
So saying the intellect's limit is non-existence basically means that within the entire scope of everything that is, the intellect has no inherent boundary. Its potential is limitless in terms of exploring and understanding existence.
So the fact that it can even think about its limits?
Exactly. The very fact that intellect can conceive of its limits implies an ability to conceptually transcend them. It points towards this potentially infinite capacity for knowing. It's a beautiful paradox again. Recognizing limits actually points to an unbounded potential.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive into the intellect makes me think of another key distinction that comes up in these conversations. The idea of kun, the essence, versus waj, the face or the aspect.
Oh, yes. Very important.
It sort of suggests that even with our best unfettered intellect, maybe we often only grasp the observable how of things, the waj, but not the ultimate what it is, the kum.
That's a great way to put it.
Like maybe we can understand exactly how a clock works, all the gears and springs.
Oh my gosh.
Right, the waj. But maybe we don't grasp the deep essence of time itself, its kun. Is Attar pointing towards a fundamental limit of human understanding here?
You've really hit on a core metaphysical challenge that Attar and many mystics and philosophers grapple with. He definitely implies that while our intellect can roam boundlessly within existence, exploring the how, the wash, it often hits a kind of veil when it tries to grasp the ultimate kun, the true intrinsic essence of a thing.
Like with science.
Exactly. Science is brilliant at understanding the wash of matter, how it behaves, its properties, how it interacts. But does it truly tell us what matter is at its absolute fundamental level? Its kun?
Probably not yet, anyway.
Right. Or think about psychology. It studies behaviors, thoughts, emotions, the wash of being human. But has anyone truly nailed down the ultimate kun of consciousness itself, or what it means to be human?
Good point.
This distinction really pushes us beyond just empirical knowledge, doesn't it? Think about things like love or beauty. They're profoundly real experiences.
Absolutely.
We experience their effects, their waj powerfully, but their kun, their deep essence, it often remains a mystery, something you can't quite pin down or quantify in a lab. So yes, our intellect is incredible for understanding how things work, the wash, but it seems to hit this fundamental limit when trying to grasp the absolute what they are, the kun.
Okay. But then, maybe even more surprisingly, after taking us to these sort of soaring heights of the intellect, Attar does something really unexpected.
He does.
He suggests that truly profound guidance doesn't just come from up there, from abstract thought, but from something much more grounded. He actually points us downwards to the earth itself.
Yes, it's quite a shift, isn't it? And it's explored in the Musibatnameh through this really amazing dialogue between the seeker and the earth.
And reading it now, it feels incredibly current, almost like an ancient echo of, well, modern ecological awareness.
It really does. Startlingly prescient, as you said earlier. In that dialogue, the earth identifies itself in this paradoxical way.
Oh, so.
Well, it's both passive raw material, something to be shaped by us, by nature, but it's also the keeper of nature's deepest secrets. It holds life, it holds wisdom.
And what's really striking is the earth's lament. It expresses this feeling of being overlooked, even treated with contempt by humanity.
Yes, it talks about suffering from our disrespect, our pollution, constantly taking in the dead. It's a heavy truth, as you say.
It is, and yet,
despite all this mistreatment, it just keeps yielding fruit. It keeps nurturing life, sustaining everything. It's portrayed as this unending act of almost unconditional love and sacrifice.
Wow.
Attar seems to be warning us, even back then, centuries ago, that our ecological problems or disconnect, they stem directly from this fundamental disrespect.
Right.
This failure to see the earth's inherent value.
And then the earth throws down this challenge to the seeker. It says, how can you find life from a dead heart? Become alive within me that you may find a result. What does that practically mean for us, for you listening? Become alive within me.
That challenge, I think, is really urging us to cultivate the earth's own virtues within ourselves.
Ah, okay.
Attar, through the earth's voice, points out a couple of main ones. First is hilm,
Hilm.
which is deep forbearance, profound patience. It's not just passive resignation, though. It's an active, unwavering steadfastness, like the earth enduring winter.
Okay, patience. And the second?
The second is khuski, which is described as this beautiful good nature and inherent goodness that manifests as generosity, like the earth giving its fruit.
Patience and generosity.
But the real key, I think, the answer to come alive within me, is this third quality he highlights, tamal.
Tamal. What exactly is tamal? Is it just thinking, contemplating?
It's much more than just simple thinking or contemplation.
Yeah.
Tamal means profound, deliberate consideration. It really implies foresight, carefully weighing the long-term outcomes of actions. It's proactive, wise deliberation.
Proactive wisdom. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So coming alive within the earth means internalizing these virtues. Patience, hilm, generosity, khuski, good nature, but especially tamal. It means acting with that patient, long-term wisdom that the earth itself embodies.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. How does the earth actually show this tamal, this proactive wisdom, in practice?
Well, you mentioned winter. Think about it. The earth endures the cold, the snow, the storms. On the surface, it looks dormant, maybe even dead.
Right.
But that is its tamal in action, this deliberate endurance, this foresight. It's not just passively waiting for spring. It's a deep internal process of holding potential, knowing what's coming, preparing.
Holding potential.
Yes, and the result, of course, is the vibrant life of spring.
Yeah.
That hidden life emerges directly from the earth's capacity for tamal and hilm, that patient wisdom that knows how to wait, how to endure, and how to nurture potential.
So that brings it right back to us then. If we have these elements inside us that Attar mentions, like inner fire, anger, rage and wind, destructive passions, chaotic thoughts, how do we find that balance, that agodol, as he calls it? How do we become more like the earth using these virtues?
That's the vital connection he's making. We learn from the earth by consciously trying to embrace humility, deep forbearance, hilm, patience, and especially tamal, that patient, deliberate wisdom.
Okay.
These virtues act like anchors, or maybe like cooling water on our inner fire and wind. By exercising tamal, by taking that thoughtful, deliberate pause before reacting impulsively.
Instead of just lashing out.
Exactly. We stop those inner elements from causing harm, either to ourselves or to others. And this practice, this cultivation of tamal, is what allows us to reach agodol.
Which is?
Inner balance, moderation, equilibrium. And Attar suggests it's not just, a nice-to-have quality. It's absolutely crucial for human flourishing.
And it sounds like this deep tamal, this patient wisdom, is also somehow linked to tajamul, which means beauty, grace, elegance.
Precisely.
That's a fascinating connection he makes, how inner discipline actually creates outer grace.
It is fascinating. Attar suggests that tamal, this wise, deliberate thinking, inevitably leads to agodol balance. And where there's true balance, there's true tajamul, real beauty.
So it's not just skin deep.
Not at all. It's not just about looking pretty on the outside. It's a deep inner harmony that radiates outward. It shapes how we act, how we present ourselves to the world. I mean, think about it. Unchecked human anger, that inner fire, it can burn worlds.
Right.
Destroy relationships, legacies.
Yeah.
Tamal is that crucial pause, the reflection that brings things back into balance. And the result of that balanced action is tajamul, a beautiful, graceful action, or even just a way of being.
This makes me think immediately of that incredible example, the one often cited from Imam Ali during the Battle of the Trench. It seems like a perfect illustration of Tamal in action.
Oh, it's a classic example. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Imam Ali, who's seen as this model of virtue,
Right.
he's in the middle of this intense duel. His opponent, defeated, spits on him. Now, the immediate impulsive reaction would be pure rage, right? A personal insult demanding instant retribution.
Of course.
But instead, Imam Ali pauses. He actually steps back for a moment, collects himself, gets his intention right again. And only then does he return to finish the fight.
Why the pause?
Exactly. When asked later why he paused, he explained that if he had struck immediately in that moment of anger, it would have been out of personal fury, his own ego being slighted. Not purely for the sake of justice or for God.
Nah.
That pause, stepping back from the raw impulse to consciously choose a higher motive, that was Tamal. That was deliberate consideration.
And the result, the outcome of that patient wisdom.
The result was tajamul. It was recognized even eventually by his enemies as an act of incredible grace, profound integrity, and just amazing self-mastery. It showed that true power isn't just about brute force. It's about control, about intention.
Wow.
And Attar adds something really interesting here. He suggests that an idea or an action that's truly born from Tamal, from correct, deliberate thinking, it becomes almost indestructible.
Indestructible.
Yeah. It enters this realm of pure, eternal thought, in a way. It gains a kind of timelessness because it wasn't just a fleeting reaction. It was a considered, principled act.
Ultimately, then, all these insights from the unfettered intellect all the way down to the earth's enduring wisdom, they seem to point towards a single profound truth.
Mm-hmm.
One that was maybe beautifully articulated by the mystic Rabi'a in that famous story in Attar's poem. She was so immersed in the sane, the creator, that she naturally saw all of creation through that lens.
Indeed. That story is so telling. It truly gets to the core of her profound response to the ascetic, the Zahid, who criticized her for staying inside during beautiful spring instead of going out to look at the flowers.
Right. Her perspective was completely different.
Completely. She was seeing the entirety of creation, the Masnu, through the light of the creator, the sane. This approach is sometimes called Burhan Lam in philosophical terms, seeing the creator first and then everything else flowing from that divine reality.
Rather than the other way around.
Rather than trying to infer the creator just by looking at a limited piece of creation. Yes. It mirrors that beautiful saying attributed to Lady Fatima Zahra. The pleasure of his service has made me oblivious to asking anything else. I have no need other than looking at his noble face. That's the ultimate expression of seeing the sane first.
It's interesting, in our modern world, we can so easily understand the design in a complex machine, can't we? We see the intelligence behind it.
Absolutely.
Yet sometimes some people seem to struggle to see the divine design in nature. Even though the perfection, the itqan, the mastery, as the term is used in the universe, from galaxies down to a single atom, is arguably far, far greater than any human-made device.
It is a fascinating contrast.
The universe itself is described in sacred texts as sana Allah alladhi atqana kulla shay, meaning the work of God who has perfected everything.
Exactly. And it really comes down to how we see, doesn't it? We have, you could say, two outer eyes that perceive the visible world, the Masnu, the creation.
Hyperphilous eyes.
Our physical eyes. But we also have, let's say, two inner eyes, inner faculties, capable of perceiving the inner reality, the sane, the creator.
How does that work?
Well, think about time and space. We don't perceive them directly with our outer senses, do we? It's an inner faculty, part of our intellect or consciousness, that grasps them.
Right, I see.
And just as time has deeper layers beyond our immediate perception, concepts like Dar and Sarmad in mystical thought, and just as space extends beyond the visible to realms like the Arshiala, the highest throne, our understanding also needs to go deeper than just the surface.
And remarkably, Attar suggests, along with many mystics, that this Arshiala, this ultimate reality, this throne, it isn't just out there somewhere, it's also found within.
Precisely. There's that famous saying often quoted, the heart of the believer is the throne of the most merciful. So it's about finding that boundless depth inside ourselves.
Which leads us where?
It leads us ultimately to the essence of knowledge itself, which is kodagahi, self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yes. When Attar and others talk about the Kaaba-iyan, the Kaaba of the soul, they're pointing to this inner sanctuary, knowledge without self-awareness. Well, it doesn't have much meaning, does it?
How so?
If someone claims to know everything about the external world, but doesn't know themselves, that claim is fundamentally empty. The very act of saying, I know, implies a self that knows.
Right, the I.
The I. This is why the Hadith states, "Ma arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu." Whoever knows himself knows his Lord.
Yeah.
It implies that understanding the self is the foundational path, the prerequisite almost, to understanding the Creator.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The thought process itself is described as an active movement born from this inner light, the self.
Yes.
Even the decision not to think is itself a thought. Our minds are constantly active, constantly moving.
They are. The human mind is inherently active. Concepts themselves are interconnected. They move from one to another, forming arguments, building understanding. And this constant movement within our thoughts, Attar suggests, originates from that inner light, that John, that soul or self, which is the Kaaba-e.
The Kaaba of the soul.
Exactly. It's an inner presence that cannot truly be forgotten or lost, even if we try. And the more we distance ourselves from trivial thoughts, from those distractions of the army of imagination,
the brighter that inner light becomes.
That's the idea. We have to constantly nurture our desire for truth, our appetite for truth, and avoid the distractions that, as one thinker put it, spoil our appetite for it.
Like junk food for the mind.
Kind of, yeah. As that Western thinker noted, every human has an appetite for truth, but it can be dulled by unhealthy pursuits.
So what does this all boil down to for us, for the listener? Truth isn't something we just passively wait for.
Not at all. Truth is always present, always available, always open to us, but we must actively seek it. We must be selics. Exactly. As Rumi famously put it, "Oh, brother, you are but thought. The rest is bone and sinew. If your thought is a rose, you are a rose garden. If it is a thorn, you are kindling for the furnace."
Wow.
The very act of being a salik, a seeker, means constantly moving, constantly striving with our intellect, with our thought towards truth. This intrinsic connection between thought, self, and the divine makes the path to truth inseparable from our very being.
So as you, our listener, continue on your own journey of discovery this week, maybe consider this. What small, consistent inner practice of Tamal, of that deliberate consideration, could you perhaps explore, maybe just for today?
Yeah, could it be something as simple as taking a conscious breath before reacting? Really thinking even for a split second about the potential consequences before reacting strongly when something irritates you or pushes your buttons. How might that small inner discipline, that kind of internal pause, maybe like the one that Imam took, how might that actually lead to more outer grace, more tajamul in your daily interactions?
And maybe think about how truly embracing these earthly virtues, that deep patience, that hilm, that forbearance, that deliberate wisdom, Tamal, might bring more agodol, more balance, more moderation.
And perhaps more genuine beauty.
Exactly. More genuine beauty, not just into your inner world, but into how you actually engage with everything and everyone around you. Just, something to ponder on.
Because the deepest wisdom we might be searching for isn't always hidden away in grand revelations or, incredibly complex intellectual ideas. Sometimes, maybe often, it's right here.
Right under our feet.
Right under our feet, exactly. In the most overlooked aspects of our existence, like the earth itself, or within our own capacity for thought. By cultivating Tamal, that deliberate foresight, along with patience and forbearance, we can find true inner balance, agodol, and perhaps even lasting beauty, tajamul, in our own lives.
And doing that,
it really honors the earth, doesn't it? Not just as some external entity, but by reflecting its best qualities right here inside us.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Attar's incredible wisdom. Keep exploring those big questions and keep looking within.
And maybe, just maybe, look beneath your feet too.